Well, hello again. Welcome to another edition of CropLife Retail Week. Paul Schrimpf here with Sfiligoj. Hello, sir.
Sir, how you doing?
I'm doing well. We got another beautiful day, which we're
Yeah, and actually spring has officially arrived. I know I got flowers coming up in my yard. Looks like the grass is starting to grow, and I guess I'll be spending the next few days picking up loose sticks so that possibly next week I can mow the lawn, dare I say.
I don't know. Well, it's supposed to get chilly again, so we'll see about that. I don't know. But it sure is nice to get a little respite, little 70-degree action before we kind of slide back into the normal 50s that we're used to late March, early April.
I'll take it. I mean, I don't know if you can see, but the window is open next to me here. You can probably see the curtains flapping in the breeze a little bit. I know it's supposed to get a little bit of a wind event later tonight here in town. I heard 25-mile-an-hour sustained winds and possible gusts up to 60. So that ought to be a fun sleeping night.
Yep, it's already working its way up there. I say I've got the window open here in the attic, and it's moving some stuff. So, so what's going on in the world of retail, sir?
Well, in retail, actually, Paul, like I teased many a time, it'll be a rare video when I don't talk about some merger going on in the marketplace. Now, this one, the catch is on this merger, it doesn't involve ag retail directly, but it involves a couple of companies that will probably be important for ag retailers and growers and moving stuff around the country or countries in this case. I know, Paul, we've had a lot of talk about the trade agreement, the U.S., Mexico, Canada trade agreement. And now sort of as a byproduct, maybe as an extension of that, if you will, we found out that the Canadian Pacific Railroad has agreed to merge with the Kansas City Southern Railroad. So that merger is going to create the first railroad company that will actually have distribution in Canada, the U.S., and Mexico. So, you can put that down maybe to the trade deal between the three countries, but it just sounds like it's a good business plan on the part of two large railroads deciding that, two equal one is a better thing for their business model.
Interesting. Well, you can always use help on the logistical side. Hopefully that keeps things moving efficiently. Speaking of moving things around, there was some Twitter chatter over the weekend about price increases from the basic manufacturers and others on crop protection. And, it was, as usual, it's a lot of, they're opportunistic and sticking it to folks and things like that. The usual, what consumers say about their suppliers. But indeed, a lot of that is actually happening, in terms of finding containers to move product, the COVID effect, the trade effect, really in suppliers having challenges with supply overall is impacting manufacturers and what they're bringing to market. And it will vary depending on the product itself. But I guess the issues are indeed real, and it's the timing is surprising for a lot of people. I think it's, from what I've talked to people, it's later than maybe it's ever happened before, or at least as late as it's happened in the past, more late than it's happened in the past. But the issues are indeed something that they're dealing with, and they're choosing to pass it on to the customer. So that's what we're hearing.
Interesting. Yeah, no, I know. I've heard a lot of things about prices going up for, things like food and gasoline. So I suspect that we're just seeing rises in prices across the board, no matter what the market business product happens to be. It sounds like it might be a little more expensive now that the world is coming out of the COVID-19 pandemic and beginning to move a little bit again.
Yep. Yeah, although the stock market just the other day went down about 300 points because the oil prices went down. So who knows?
Yeah, I know. I've given up on the stock market myself. Normally something like COVID, I would have expected it to be like what happened after, the 9/11 event that, dropped 500-600 points and just kept going down for about a week. But it doesn't seem to do that anymore. It goes up and down at a whim. And it's usually seems to be very disconnected from the long-term effects of what's going on in the marketplace in general for the rest of us. So.
Yeah, I wonder too. It's now that it's up over 30,000. You just wonder maybe it's a 300-point slide is smaller now. It's really a smaller percentage of the market. So those slides that used to seem extreme maybe just aren't as extreme as they used to be either. I don't know.
Yep, all these big numbers, you can't deal with them. So, but
Don't
but
ask
thanks
me.
for the segue, Paul. Speaking of numbers, thank you for that segue.
Sure.
I actually found out here as this video is going to be beamed out to our viewers. This prior week here during March 22nd, sounds like importers were really on a buying spree. They purchased about 3.876 million tons of U.S. corn over the last 4 days or so, and that was worth $850 million to U.S. growers. So, and that includes countries besides China, but China was also still buying. So, Paul, I mean, again, we've been talking all year about the fact that the appetite of the world for U.S. produced crops, particularly corn, is not waning any bit at all. And it sounds like this is going to be continuing as we go through the spring months. So we'll have to watch that and keep reporting on it as we find out more numbers.
Interesting stuff. And speaking of interesting stuff, I'll give myself a segue.
All right, good man.
Just completed the retail 2050. Boy, I'd love to do 2050.
Yeah, we're not there yet,
by that time, but
hang on, baby.
So we're leapfrogging two decades. You know, it's the retail 2025 report we did as part of the PACE program and the PACE executive forum that we're preparing for in October. And what we try to do is get folks to kind of project, get our experts and retail friends to project what a successful business will look like in 2025, and then kind of look through, you know, the next 3 to 4 years and say, what are the things that you're going to have to do to get after to make sure that you are in survival mode and ready to go, you know, kind of take it to the next level once you get to 2025. So we got, we came up with a nice list of 7 things. We have some additional information in there as well. It's a pretty significant report. There's a historical perspective on kind of what's led up to where we are in retail right now that we've also put together. So I'd encourage you to download it. That the download will be up on the screen here, and I think probably in the comment section. So feel free to click on that. You have to submit your email address, I believe, and you'll be able to get a hold of that report. It's a PDF, digital only format, so you can pick it up and read it at your leisure, and hopefully it's worth something to you to take a look at and get some ideas about the business for the future.
Yeah, Paul, I'll be looking forward to reading that myself. Although I got to admit, now that you mentioned 2050, let's say I'll be about 86 at that point. Hopefully I'll still be around, A, and B, still be able to read, and C, we'll have to see if that's digital only or if we're still printing magazines at that point, I guess. So we'll keep our fingers crossed on that one. But when I'm 86, who knows? Maybe if I actually know I'm still here, that might be all I'm looking forward to in the morning when I wake up. So,
wow. Okay. I don't know how to go. I don't know where to go from there. So why don't you take it?
Well, if you want to wrap up, Paul, again, I know probably a lot of people out there, viewers, are like myself. When they go through the morning news websites they check out, they're looking for interesting headlines. And I know on occasion folks out there put out what would be called clickbait. They make a headline that will intrigue you to read the story just based on how interesting the headline reads. And I know I shared this one with you earlier in the week. This involved one of our favorite companies, Cargill, which is one of the largest privately owned companies in the world, worth billions of dollars, of course. And the headline read that got me to click on it: Cargill buys precision ag. So, again, when I read that headline, I'm like, wow, that's pretty impressive. That I knew they had money, but to buy up an entire segment of the agricultural market that has to do with technology is really, really impressive. So, but suffice to say, when I clicked on the headline, the actual story was there's a ag retailer with 4 locations based in Saskatchewan that goes by the name of Precision Ag. So Cargill bought those 4 locations and now has an ag retail ownership in Canada. So that's what that headline had to do with. It wasn't Cargill buying up every bit of ag technology that we know and love. So,
You know, the fact that you believed it for a minute says something about Cargill, probably. But you know, I was after you mentioned, I was kind of like looking out my window to see if the black van was going to come by and pick me up and say, "Hey, you're precision ag. You need to get into this van, sir."
that's right, Paul. So anyhow, I just thought that was interesting to share because yes, that was definitely a moment where it was like, huh, that was one of those headlines that I just had to read the story based on that headline because it just seemed it almost seemed too wild to be true, and lo and behold, it was. So.
And indeed, it was. Well, I think that's it for this week, sir?
I think so, and yeah, I guess I know our Cleveland State Vikings did not make it through to the Sweet 16, so I know someone in our company meeting was saying Loyola was probably a good choice because everybody loves to watch Sister Jean. So what the heck? I'll be rooting for them come this weekend. So
yeah, it's kind of a fun storyline. I mean, the entire Big Ten was pretty much decimated in the tournament and barely made a showing. So, you know, that's about all we got.
That's all we got.
A feel-good story. So that'll have to do. And that'll have to do for this edition of CropLife Retail Week. We appreciate you joining us, and we'll see you next week.
If you have questions or comments about today's episode of Retail Week, contact us by email or Twitter, or type your message in the comment section below.
Your feedback is important to us. We'll try our best to address your thoughts in next week's episode.
And be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel.